recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios, Meanjin, Brisbane.
On 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Zed Games.
Zed Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture. Want to reach out?
Share your hot take?
Or do you just want to share your favourite game?
Find us on socials at Zed Games AU.
I feel like a Skeksis. Anyway, this is Zed Games. I'm your host, Paul. Joining me tonight. Oh, God, I shouldn't have Skeksis. We have my good friends, Natalia, Carolyn, and Tom.
Howdy.
Nice to have you all here. Oh, yeah. Nice and...
It's good to be here.
Thanks, Tom.
I'm still half and half. I'm on the edge.
We'll see. It's been quite the day, quite the week. Lots of things going on, but we're going to talk about video games because that is our general MO here. But
that's what we do.
Yeah. I'm going to start left to right. How are you going, Natalia?
I am deeply into SilkSong Fever. It's all I've been doing.
You and several other people.
It is very good, and we have thoughts, I think.
And that's the end of our review. So no more need to ever discuss SilkSong. What about you, Caroline?
I've been playing SilkSong instead of sleeping.
Oh.
I'm slightly delirious. And when I do sleep, I dream of SilkSong.
Yes, that is true. That happens.
I actually do.
There's a problem.
There's so many problems.
I don't know. I think playing games that you're involved in your dream is actually pretty normal. I have played many a game in my dream.
It's like DLC.
It's not even quite
like
playing either. It sort of merges into like some sort of experience, and it's very weird.
I've solved a lot of adventure games in my dreams, and also I've done many lines of Tetris. Sometimes you just need to get in there. But sometimes those Tetris pieces become people and we have relationships, and then we take down the government.
And that's awkward when you have to clear the row. And
It's like, my friends!
Yeah. And of course, the final fight is you dethroning God, because the villain was actually a puppet of an evil god the whole time.
Yep. Always is.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
And how about you, young Tom?
I have been couch-ridden with a horrific injury that's left me off my feet.
It's true. I kept asking you if you were going to come in today, and then when you came and I could see you at the door, I'm like, oh, I forgot he's on crutches.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to make the joke of like, I haven't seen you around for a while, so it's like, oh, yeah, surely you got bit by the SilkSong bug, and then I remembered that you genuinely broke your foot.
Yeah. No, I've been specifically trying to not play SilkSong and playing other things instead. Working through my backlog. That's what being stuck on the couch is good for.
My problem is always that I have always such a log of things to look at and play and go through that I was playing SilkSong up until the point that I hit my first little bit of friction. I'm like, just do something else. I haven't got back to it yet.
That's fair.
But before we get into all of that, let's listen to a little bit of this week's The News. News! That's my second favourite part of the episodes. Oh, good. just moving. So, in the biggest news of the week, the most exciting news.
SilkSong.
Acclaim is back!
Yeah, baby.
We reported a few weeks ago that the Acclaim, the publisher, which from the 90s and closing up in the early 2000s, was coming back in some form, and they were going to have a showcase. And now we are following up on that story because they have said, had said, that's how words work, they have had said showcase. And what a cavalcade of titles they showed off. I thought this was really weird. I don't know if all of you seen it. I know Tom's seen it.
Yeah, there was about like 5 or 6 different games, and that was about it.
I think it's 9 games.
9 games.
Okay, that's how many of them really actually sunk into me.
Yes, most of the games I would put sort of the level of sort of small indie publishers that I work with, but the difference there is that those people don't try to sell a big name and have a giant showcase. There were some good-looking games.
Yeah.
Just for something that Acclaim, while not... I mean, they were pretty big back in the day. They certainly released a lot of things. A lot of that stuff was licensed stuff.
They produced a bunch of games. They had a few in-house studios that made games like Turok and a couple of the old WWF games that you might remember from the PlayStation and 64. But yeah, a lot of licensed stuff. Famously, they used to publish LJN's games and things like that.
Well, what I find funny is in their intro, they're showing off NBA Jam, which they published several versions of. And one of the games they showed off was Basketball Classic.
That one looks actually really cool.
It looks fun, but I would say visually, it looks about one generation behind the SNES Genesis Classic NBA Jam. It's closer to like a Commodore 64 graphical style.
Well, it sounds very classic.
It looks like, what is it? Was it Mortal? Like that sort of like silhouette 8-bit style, almost like a ZX Spectrum game in some sections, but then also it's got like highly detailed like silhouette sprites that have been rotoscoped and cool looking basketball game with like some weird minigame stuff going on in there.
And just to run through sort of other, there was one called Grid Beat. It's a musical, a beat rhythm game. We're moving around a grid. Very, very close to a game a friend of mine was developing in his spare time, so I told him he can stop now. And I mean, there's like a Pixel Washer, which is just Power Wash Simulator, but top down.
Like a twin stick shooter style, yep.
The final game they showed off, which was called Catanaut, that was like no cats involved. More of like a Katana Zero side-scrolling action platformer. But it's also like, it looks good, but we've just had the Ninja Gaiden and the Shinobi side-scrolling sword fight.
Yeah, so now in comes the unknown third competitor that has no real name or pull behind it, which is, I kind of feel bad for them already. Yeah,
I mean, like, hopefully these things land, but it's not a grand launch that's going to take the world by storm. It's just a modest lineup of hopefully good games. Anyway, so there was a game that was released last week, less than a week ago, which actually shocked me when I went back and looked at the date. I was like, this has been out for like 3 weeks now, hasn't it? So SilkSong,
Whoa.
the Hollow Knight came out.
Yes.
And I'm just loading up to see what the current stats on it were, but the overall players in the last hour on Steam, so that is only one of its many platforms, it had a peak of 407,000 in the last 24 hours, and the all-time peak, which was 5 days ago, in a game that is less than a week old, was 587,000 people simultaneously on Steam, which puts most games to complete shame.
It is insane, especially given it's day one on Game Pass. A lot of its second wind and like popularity came from it being on the Switch.
Yep.
So that's a massive
Switch
thing.
is a very popular format for it.
On the PlayStation, like the amount of players, I think it was estimated to be like around 5 million people have played it so far, which is for a team of 3 people is incredible.
Yeah. Well, also, let's say a primary team of 3 people. Lots of other people are involved in the production of
course.
it, but the developer is 3 people. Yes, and then some strange rhetoric around it where people are upset at its price and such. Like, that's their prerogative.
Yep.
And they can just make art for art's sake now because they're already in that position, and now even more so.
Yeah.
So, good luck, Australia's Team Cherry.
How long is it going to be until everyone's chanting in every single video game showcase or reveal, like, when's SilkSong 2? When's Hollow Knight 3? What's next?
Well, that was always what I really wanted, was them to never release SilkSong and release Hollow Knight 2 and say, we're still working on it in the background, and just keep stringing people over.
SilkSong's going to be different, though.
Yeah.
Did you talk about the article that came out last week where the developers were talking about like the fact that they the reason they delayed it so much is because they were having so much fun making it?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. They're all very comfortable now. Yeah. I'm sure they get up in the morning when they want to. They do work, and as we'll talk about later, they do good work. And then I'm sure they go home at a respectable hour and live their lives like happy people.
Even they were like, I kind of feel bad at releasing the game because we're taking away their fun. That's what they said.
It was fun with that. There's, I don't think the first patch is out. They just did the patch notes, didn't they?
No, they've announced the patch.
So there's a little bit of nerfing for early game stuff and everything. Just mostly bug fixes in it. Bug fixes in the game!
There's a lot of bugs in the game.
And also, as tends to happen, there's been some review bombing, but it's not really review bombing because it's pretty genuine, which is there was a translator brought in to do the Chinese translation, and it's apparently god-awful. People have tried to like show how bad it is by translating it back to English, but that
That's
you
not a
can't-
fair comparison.
You can't really do that either. But yes, the translator took it on their own to get extremely flowery and verbose with their translation, and apparently it is beyond awful. Team Cherry have responded that they get it retranslated. But yeah, so complaining about that is a genuine complaint. So it's not really
That's
review.
valid.
They're like, sorry, we don't speak Chinese. we couldn't tell.
It reached 38% mostly negative on Steam in China, actually, because of it, which is
I mean, don't read the dialogue that closely anyway. So.
boo.
You don't play it for the story?
No.
For the world.
I mean, do good for the world. We'll get into that later. Anyway, the last note of SilkSong is not about SilkSong. It is about the Australian Game Developers Awards. Finalists have been announced for the year, and thankfully for everyone involved, SilkSong is not nominated, probably just because of the timing. What made me very happy? So, there's lots of categories. We don't need to go through everything. Game of the Year, Mars vs. Logistics, The Drifter, Shattered, and the one that surprised me the most is a game I love, made by an excellent developer, Proximate, which is a very small first-person text-based horror game. We did review it when it came out, and it's up for a bunch of awards, actually, which made me very happy. The small people getting big things. Also, Power Hoof's there, which is, two-man studio. It's nice to see that there's some good stuff in there. Also, I love it when they do this, because I look at the list of people, of games here, and then I see ones that I don't know.
Yeah. So you can just go and pick them up.
Yeah. Well, one of them, actually, I'm going to talk about it later in the show, I think. We'll get into that.
6 of the 18 games were Queensland made too, which is super exciting for...
Yeah. Well, are we counting Cast and Chill? Because that's only half Queensland made.
True. Well, I don't know.
We claim it. We're claiming it.
We're claiming it. It's ours
We're claiming
now.
it, yeah.
We're rounding up. That's a full.
Yeah, we shoddy.
The amount of time I have on that game in Queensland makes it a Queensland game.
That's fair enough. Fair enough to hear. Okay, just running through a couple of quick short ones. There is a Nintendo Direct tomorrow night. It's supposed to be a pretty big one. It's 1 hour long. For people in Brisbane, just Australian Eastern Standard Time, it should be at 11 p.m. So you can get in to check that out.
That's 40th anniversy of Mario as well.
Yeah.
So
who knows
there's
what could happen?
Maybe there'll be Mario at a
40-year-old
Nintendo.
man.
Maybe.
He came out 40 years ago. So
It's good on
He's
him.
out and proud.
yeah. Good.
He's a proud Italian plumber.
Yes. And to finish this off, just a few upcoming game releases, as it were. Tomorrow should see Borderlands 4 out.
Oh, wow.
I thought that was already out.
I
Oh.
kind of forgot
Shows
about
what I
that
know.
one.
Yeah, we're different. But on September the 16th, we should get Lego Voyages, which I'm quite excited to play with my son, actually.
Yeah.
The day after, Skate 4. Strange Antiquities comes to PC and Nintendo Switch. And, I was going to say The Dying Light, The Beast, but it actually comes out in a little over a week on September the 20th for us. So some pretty good bangers there, actually.
Skate 4 is like pretty huge. It's finally happening.
Yeah, it's early access, but it's also free to play. So, we'll get in. There's been a lot of talk back and forth about that one. But that generally brings us up to the end of Gaming News. Wow! Now.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not a review, so we cut it off early.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We are going to talk
Discussion.
about the latest game from Team Cherry of their catalogue, SilkSong.
The Silky Song. The
Yeah.
Song of
The
Silk.
Silk.
Now, this game has been out since last Friday. It was kind of hilarious when it launched because I am, as a not an obsessive about SilkSong person, I was like, I will get it tonight, but I'll just wake up and get it. I wake up and my phone is just filled with people freaking out that they can't buy it for an hour.
For an hour and a half, maybe.
Maybe an hour, yeah, at the most. But yeah, it crashed at pretty much every digital store.
Yeah.
Which for a small indie game is crazy.
Yeah.
Fun. Anyway, so the two people that are most into SilkSonging are Natalia and Caroline here.
Yes.
So I'll let you take it a bit now.
I actually had a question. What was your relationship with the first Hollow Knight? Like, just going, like...
Well,
going
we kissed a little bit. Maybe held the hands. No. I did not play it on launch. I picked it up I can't remember when, but then I played it obsessively.
Yeah, for me it was my first Metroidvania that I ever like properly like went into, and I was familiar with platformers. I could play less and stuff like that, but like I think that was the game that forged me into the gamer I am today, I believe.
Yeah, I think Hollow Knight was like my first sort of Souls sort of like game that sort of funneled me down the route of eventually playing the Souls games and all that jazz. So,
Yeah.
gateway drug of pain.
I was just looking at the release schedule of 2017 when it came out to see how high would it have been in my top 10, because I didn't look at it and say, I don't know if it broke my top 10 that year, but I do like it a lot.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I think I am really, really, really loving this game. I think the wait for it was very funny. But now that it's here, it does, I think you mentioned it before, it feels like Hollow Knight 2.
Yeah, it's just Hollow Knight, but more.
Yes, with a few core differences to it.
Yes.
Primarily your protagonist.
Yes. Protagonist, you play as Hornet, who was one of the characters from the first game.
She was like a rival fight, right?
She ended up, you fought her. She was like, I need to test your strength, so I'm fighting you here. So it wasn't really entirely antagonistic relationship.
But it was like the sort of like each time you fight her, she gets more tough and harder.
Yes.
Like
She was my
like a
favorite.
skill check.
Yeah, she's very like confident, self-assured. She actually speaks, unlike the first game's main protagonist, the Hollow Knight.
He's just Knight at the beginning, isn't he?
Is he Knight?
The Knight, yeah.
The Knight.
Yeah. And anything else is a spoiler.
Well, they shouldn't have called the game that then.
That's
They
true.
didn't want
It's
to
true.
spoil it.
It's everyone's problem but theirs.
I think I'm personally loving it because it feels like Hollow Knight, but better in every single way. I think the art is incredibly polished. One of the first things that stood out to me when I started playing it.
So beautiful, so smooth.
Just Hornet moving around, like when you're going in one direction, then you turn around, she kind of does like this half twirl,
Yeah.
and it's like
Yeah.
it just feels incredibly polished. You can feel how much love they put into the whole thing.
I find especially the background art is like the original was very high quality, but this is just, there's so much more detail, so many most little ideas and touches around the place that I was like, oh yeah, I can see this is just, they took their time, which they did.
They very much did.
Yes. So I guess the big question that people are yelling about on the internet, because we can't have a proper discourse, is difficulty.
Yes, I am feeling very passionate about that.
It's hard, but I like it.
It's very hard. I think it is
Yeah.
objectively harder than the first game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In a way that I would be disappointed if it wasn't. I mean, it's been 7 years since the first one came out, and I feel like the landscape has changed a lot since. The first Hollow Knight was very influential, and for this to be like a real challenge feels really good. I think specifically what I like about the difficulty is that compared to the first game, the way that you improve is very linear. You know, you get damage upgrades, you get more movement abilities, you get like a bunch of different things.
More
Whereas
attacks, different, that you can upgrade at least once each, I think it was.
more than that, I think. But generally, in this game, you start with so many more movement options. You feel incredible, like so sippy. It feels like you're controlling a fighter jet.
I gotta say, before like the first sort of two little upgrades you get, I didn't feel that.
Really? Well, I mean, yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
There were a lot of enemies that I was running up to, partly because I went past one of the upgrades, which is also something that's always been in Hollow Knight. But I had enemies that didn't have an opening long enough for me to get into and out of because I didn't have any ability to dash or anything.
True.
I was like, oh, I really... And then, it comes fine. And then it's like, oh, good, now the game feels faster and I can run my run backs and everything. And so...
Yeah, I'd say Hornet feels like late game Knight.
Yeah. I think it's actually a fundamentally different fantasy. In the first game, the Knight feels like a tank. You know, you're very like going around, you're like blocky, you're like the way you attack is very like doof, doof,
Yeah.
doof. Whereas with Hornet, and especially why I loved fighting against her in the first game, is the fact that she is so agile, so nimble.
She's zippy. She's very much a hunter with her traps, and also you can get crests, which give you sort of different styles of fighting. And
because it's not quite the badge system of the original.
Yeah, no, you still have little I think they're called tools that you can slot in, but you only have a limited amount of spaces, and you can upgrade the amount of spaces you have for each crest, but there's a limit.
Yeah,
there's
it's a
limit that you get
pretty
very
different sort of
quickly.
structure to it.
So it's more the way you play rather than like beefing your attack.
Yeah, I think that was the what I was trying to get at, which is that it's instead of
Yeah, I
being a
stole
linear
your,
direction of upgrades, it instead gives you a lot of tangentially different movesets and abilities and stuff for you to kind of find the way you want to express yourself.
I agree with that, but I do feel like the original Hollow Knight still also had that, but it was less explicit about just letting you explore that. It's like, because especially now, a lot of people do not play that game in any sort of linear upgrade path.
Oh, yeah.
But not at the beginning. And we were all pretty much the same even ago. So, yes, upgrades and all that. Story-wise, like, how are you feeling in the world? What's the world like?
It's in a different kingdom to where Hollow Knight was set, but it's very similar story-wise. I'm not wanting to spoil too much, but Hornet's like, yes, I've seen this type of stuff before.
You won't believe
Yeah.
it. You're exploring a kingdom that has been dilapidated, and you have to figure out why.
Oh, no!
And something's causing these bugs to come alive and attack you. And you got to figure out, basically at the start of the game, you're kidnapped, drained of all your powers, and then somehow you escape because a weird bug landed on your cage and that let you get free.
It's that old classic.
But that's the premise for you having no powers, and you're gradually building up and discovering what's happening.
It's an interesting balance in the world. I haven't had any real problem with any of the bosses so far. I'm earlier than you. You're ahead of me. But some of the general enemies out in the world.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's like I can feel so competent against a box, and then I'll walk out of the room and just Boo Boo the Fool will be there, bump me slightly, and I'll be like, well, that's me, done, I'm dead.
Yeah.
A lot of something that a lot of people have been complaining about is the fact that a lot of more enemies than in the first game deal 2 hearts of damage.
Yes, it's very frustrating.
Which I think it is frustrating, but especially given that you have a new heal, which in the first game you hold it down and you kind of heal 1 heart at a time. In this one, you heal 3 at once. You can do it in the air, you can do it very quickly, but you have to use your entire bar. And so it's like this weird thing of like...
The thing that's funny about this kind of design is that, people go, oh, they hit so much harder, it takes away 2 hearts. As if that representation isn't entirely arbitrary to begin with. Like, they could have just given you half the hearts and had pretty much everything hit for 1, or do half damage if they're weak. But because of that psychological difference, people feel that it's much rougher and people hit so much harder.
It's also finding health upgrades, I think, is a lot harder this time around. Before the final boss of the first act, they have acts now. What? I only found enough to upgrade to get another heart. Well, a mask, sorry, they're not hearts.
To me, like, the big difference with the rhetoric that's going on around the moment. Well, one, Hollow Knight did not launch huge. It took a while to build up. But much like Souls-like, and why, if you are interested in this game, it is worth getting in early. It's $30 Australian. It's
20 US.
It's very affordable, especially for the size of the game. But like all Souls-likes, those games are so much harder before they've been solved. Yes. So probably if you come back in 2 weeks, they'll be like, oh, you idiots. In the first act, you just go through this wall and then you find a special sword that just kills everything by looking at it. And, what are you all complaining
but
about?
that's boring. And as much as
I don't mean boring. I just mean that it's like there's all the stuff we don't know. I asked for some general advice on a fight I was having trouble with, and the person suggested I do 5 things that I didn't have. And I'm like, well, I might just go in a different direction.
I had to do that. I did try and find some advice for the boss that I was stuck on, and then I was like, oh, these items that I didn't get, so I had to go off on a little quest to get a few things, and that helped. But honestly, it's just get good. Try again, learn the patterns.
The game asks you to step up, and if you don't, then that's kind of,
I also never use my tools. I should.
I love my tools.
They're so good.
Did SilkSong so far deliver what you were wanting?
Yes, I wanted to be demolished. I wanted to be punished, and I am. And it's good.
It feels like conquering something, and I'm
Yes.
very, very excited
Exactly.
going into the second act. Thematically,
Yes.
the way that difficulty comes in and the brutality of the world, I think I know something
love
changes.
it.
There's a lot of
Yes.
excitement in this room right
It's-
now. I think these two are going to
want
leave
to
immediately
be-
and go play SilkSong.
Exactly. I'm
Fade us
mad
out before we
that
keep
I'm not
talking.
I was actually thinking
playing
about-
SilkSong. I could be playing SilkSong
We
right
should
now.
be playing.
Yeah.
It's a game about a bug.
There's so many bugs.
So, as we were saying, the game presentation is very beautiful. Also, it sounds very beautiful.
Oh my God.
The composer, Christopher Larkin, has done another amazing job with this soundtrack. We're going to listen to a track from it now. This is Lost Lace from Hollow Knight, SilkSong. But now, we're going to move our attention to the young lad over here. Good old
Yeah.
Tim Tom.
That's me.
And now we can do the whole intro.
Review time.
Push,
Drag.
push and pull. Oh, I should do the Blue Fiesta song. Kick, push, kick, push, kick.
Drag
Coast.
Coast.
I mean, the warehouse does feel very Tony Hawk Warehouse-like. Today...
Yep.
Today I will be reviewing Drag X Drive, the game that everyone's talking about this week.
Woo!
You all know Drag X Drive?
Woo!
Have you heard of it? That
Yeah.
is.
I mean, yeah.
I
I think so.
It came
You
out
mentioned
the 14th of August. It is the first new Nintendo IP of the generation, if you're not counting Welcome Tour, and I don't. I refuse to. It is their new Switch 2 exclusive game where you play as a robot in a wheelchair playing wheelchair basketball.
You know. How
That's-
dare you say that? From Nintendo's official advice to its staff, they are not to use the word wheelchair. Instead, they are to use the word vehicles.
Vehicles. Oh, I mean, well, what's the difference?
It looks
I don't know.
like a wheelchair and quacks like a wheelchair. I think it's a
It's
wheelchair.
such a weird thing to like be touchy about because like Murderball's just a thing.
Yeah,
It's
it feels like that might be them being worried about offending people that are wheelchair bound.
I think they just like it. Well, if it was good.
Yeah, but I mean,
We'll
it's-
find out very soon.
Yeah, well, it is a game where you are playing as a robot in a wheelchair-like vehicle, and you are playing basketball. It is up to 3v3 player basketball on a small court. So the way that the game works and the main gimmick for the game is you're playing with the Switch 2 Joy-Cons, specifically in their mouse mode, where you have one edge of the Joy-Con on a flat surface. And as you drag that Joy-Con forward and back, your character will wheel forward and back on their left or right wheel on their chair. And of course, there's some buttons for braking and there's a couple of other things you can do. If you want to shoot the basketball, you literally pull up your hand that you want to shoot with and do a little hooping motion as if you were to toss the ball. So that's Drag X Drive. There's not a lot to this game in terms of content, is what I would say. I am viewing this kind of in the same vein that as ARMS for the Nintendo Switch 1, which was also a weird control scheme sort of first-party IP.
But it was dripping in style.
Yeah, there was lots of weird characters. They were releasing a new character every month that had their own gimmick involved.
It was a gorgeous looking game.
I was one of the 10 people that bought ARMS, and now I'm one of the 10 people that bought Drag X Drive.
Arm's got an update for Switch 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I can play with the mouse controls in ARMS?
I don't think there's mouse controls in it. I think they just upped the resolution.
That's disappointing. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of what Wheels. I almost called this game Wheels. That's kind of what Drag X Drive is.
It's wheelie.
It's Wheels.
Okay.
So as far as the game goes, you've got your 3v3 matchups, and it can sometimes be down to a 2v2 or like 1v1, and you've each got a bot on either side. And you are set in this giant warehouse that looks kind of like a skate park. And that's kind of the vibe I get from this. There's some vague sort of like lo-fi trap beats that are playing in the background.
But the actual like court doesn't have. It's got ramps on the sides, doesn't it?
Yes,
There's nothing on the playfield, is there?
No, on your actual basketball playfield, it's pretty much straight up a normal basketball court, except for on the edges there's little bits of a ramp. So instead, it makes dunking in Drag X Drive a viable way of scoring. And of course, if you dunk the ball, you get more points. You get extra points for 3-pointers. But if you do a cool trick whilst dunking the ball or doing a jump shot and stuff like that, you get bonus points. So if I do a 540 spin slam dunk, I get like 2.4 points instead of 2 points.
I would love it if other sports just integrated as like, oh, that was very stylish, so you get an extra,
so cool.
just like judges going along as a go.
That guy clicked his heels as he went up to do the
Nice,
slam dunk. So, so aside from the games that you have against the other opponents, there are some trials that you can do around this giant warehouse that feels kind of echoey and empty. And like there's speed trials, like practicing like doing a slalom or shooting practice and that sort of stuff that you can do to earn trophies, which will unlock a very small amount of cosmetic changes that you can make to your driver, I guess.
Yeah.
So aside from that, there's not a lot to this. There's 2 mini games that they have at the moment. One where a basketball is shot from a random cannon on a roof, and it's the first person to catch the basketball wins. And then there's a race.
What's the race like? Because that's kind of interesting.
The race is basically there'll be almost like a dirt bike or like motorbike show sort of ramps that are around that you're going through. There's like gates that you got to jump over. There's giant bowling pins that get in your way, that sort of stuff. But it's very bare bones.
Oh, yeah.
There's not much to that.
Like just with the movement, with the analog sort of thing of the mice dragging everything, do you feel like good control? Do you think there's like room for someone getting good at it?
Oh, absolutely. So when I've been playing it online, I haven't had any trouble finding games. There was only one time that I had it set to find me a game, and I wasn't included, and it was because there was only 5 people in the lobby. But for the rest of the time, I've been getting matched up against some Australian players, I think, and primarily Japanese players. And that's where a lot of this audience is going to be. Thankfully, Australia's servers must be on Japan servers, which means that you'll always have people to play against because it's going to be very well supported over there. Your setup matters for this game. So like I said, because you're dragging these controllers back and forth, in the ads they say, oh, you can play on a table or a desk, or you can even use your play on your legs and use the things on your pants. I was wearing pants that had a pattern on them the other day, and it was messing with it because it uses the infrared camera sort of thing. So that was messing with my turning and stuff. And when I was playing on my coffee table, it was a horrible loud clattering noise as I'm pushing my wheels forward. So
How much clearance do you
you could only need a little bit of space. It's one of those things where, when you played Wii Sports with your auntie and uncle or your grandparents, and they were doing these big wide swings for Wii Tennis and Wii Baseball, and you're like, no, optimal play is actually just using your wrist, a small flick and a motion. And that's kind of what this is.
But I like to get immersed.
Yeah, you can get immersed, and I'll say one thing is that the games are hard. You're going to lose a lot if you play this game, especially early on. But the characters and the culture of the players is good. Every time I've lost, when I've had a steamroll win because I've had a gun second player that's just won it for me, or when I've been playing and lost a whole bunch, either way, you're all in the same lobby after the game, and everyone rolls up to each other without fail and uses the motion controls to give each other a high five. And that's programmed into the game. You can clap and you can give a high five.
Oh, that's cute.
And it's been a lot of people rolling up and everyone's just slapping their hands back and forth in the middle, dapping each other up. And that's kind of a good feeling. So even if you get rocked, if you can get one shot in the goal, you're going to feel good about it. The skill ceiling is there's going to be some guys in there who are doing 360 no-scope dunks on you, and they can win the entire game for you. And then I played a game with a guy who literally sat on the 3-pointer line and hit the "Hey, pass to me" prompt over and over again.
And you did not, because he didn't deserve it.
Yes,
too needy. Too needy.
If you're matched up against people who are similarly skilled, they're a tight, fun
to
game.
be had.
Yes.
Cool.
Dragon.
They basically announced a new assist trophy for the next Smash Bros. With Drag X Drive. I think that's as far as you'll get.
If they did a Drag X Drive amiibo, I would just get it because I love all the freak amiibos. They're my favorite.
You're a box boy guy.
Oh, gosh, yeah. We are coming up to the end of the night. I just wanted to quickly bring up something I said we'd talk about later, and I didn't. One of the games nominated for the AGDAs, the Australian Game Developers Association Awards, that had not heard of, is called... Ooh.
What's it called?
I didn't come up with a thing. It's a phone game. It's about teaching a specific Aboriginal language. And the funny thing is me not knowing the name, and that's like I'm supposed to have learnt because I'm learning the words of different people. No, let's just go to the actual site and I'll get it right instead of just guessing, because why would I do that? It is called Nyarapali Widi. It's actually a game where you're shooting things.
Ooh.
But you're like capturing them. So it'll say this word, go and get me this, and so you might use a plunger to get cockatoo or something. And so it teaches you language as you go along. It's cute, it's
cool.
free. As I said, I just wanted to mention it because I said I would, and I stick by my word. Anyway, other than that pretty much brings us to the end of the show. Thank you for listening, everybody. Lots of fun things coming up.
More SilkSong.
For some. Thank you very much for everything, friends, and we'll see you all later.
See you later.
Thanks for listening to Zed Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, you can find us on the Community Radio Plus app.
Or find us on socials at ZED Games AU.
See you next time.